Hello, welcome to the Print Political Adda. On my right is my colleague Saurav Roy Burman, and on my left is a young, dynamic MP from Haryana you are all familiar with, Dipender Hooda. Welcome to the Print.
Thank you.
And first of all, congratulations on winning your fourth Lok Sabha election and with a big margin, 3.5 lakhs. That was great. Before we come to the question about what the Lok Sabha election results mean to you and your rivals in Haryana Assembly election, let me ask you something which is all over the headlines, on TV, in papers, that the way Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla responded to you, it was a very sharp rebuke when he said, "Baith ja, no, salah ki zarurat nahi, I don't need your advice, baith ja, baith ja." And that has not really gone down well with the people the way he spoke. How have you taken it?
See, so in the spirit of things, I'll start this interview by saying Jai Samvidhan. See, Parliament is run under the framework of our Constitution. Parliament is constituted under our Constitution. Our country is run by the Constitution. All sections get their rights, and the rights of each individual is protected by the Constitution. So, for anybody to say Jai Samvidhan should be welcome for everyone.
Which Shashi
And
Tharoor did.
especially, which Shashi Tharoor said after he took his oath, and most of the Congress members were doing it. And especially in the when somebody is saying in the four corners of the same house, sacred house, which witnessed the formation of our Constitution. That is where the groundwork was done and the Constituent Assembly met. I, in particular, am of course emotionally attached to the idea of Constitution, more so because my own grandfather, Chaudhry Ranbir Singh, was one of the members of the Constituent Assembly, and he had his own contributions when the Constitution was formed, and he's one of the original signatories along with Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar ji, Jawaharlal Nehru ji, Sardar Patel ji. So he's one of the original signatories on the original copy of the Constitution. So when I felt that perhaps Jai Samvidhan, this slogan, has not been received well, I just said that there should not be any objection to it. It is for the country to see what happened after that. I feel, as far as the chair is concerned, I have always held high respect towards the chair. And I feel the chair should also, it is the duty of the chair to also ensure that each member is respected. And I think that is, if the respect flows from the chair also, that is where the dignity of the house is enhanced. So I will not comment much more about this, but I'll say, as far as my 20 years in Parliament and my conduct is concerned, it is for everyone to see. I've always respected everyone. Not one word that I've uttered in Parliament ever has been disallowed. I have not used a single unparliamentary word. I've respected everyone. And I think it's a matter of right that everybody should also respect each other. Now I'll leave it for the viewers, for the nation, and also for the chair to evaluate how things have gone.
On a lighter vein, you also, they state the speaker comes from your Sasural, right? Your Rajasthan son-in-law. Anyway, so I have known.
And by the way, both the chairs are occupied by my Sasural. In the Rajya Sabha also, our Honorable Vice President.
Vice President.
And so I'm a matter of pride for Rajasthan.
So I have known Om Birla ji for a long time, for over 2 decades. And he has always been a very mild-mannered, very soft-spoken person. In the last 2 days especially, I see a sort of aggression. What had changed in the house? Was it because, right after he took over, there were kind of digs at him, many of the opposition MPs saying that, as I heard some TMC MP basically saying that, you should not be
Going down before.
bowing down to the ruling party and all these things. Did that really irk him?
See, that's a question for him to answer. But I think if you look at how things went by on the very first day itself, when a reference was made to the emergency in 1977, I don't think there was a need for that reference. Now, of course, we understand that that is something we see as the government through the speaker has wanted to convey that message. And not only the reference, after the reference, there was a 2-minute silence. To basically
members
pay
stood up,
homage
yeah.
to all those who have lost their life during the emergency, etc. If ever there was a need for this such kind of homage, we should have paid homage to the lakhs of our soldiers who have sacrificed their lives in these 75 years on the borders. We should have paid homage to and stood up for silence in respect of our father of our nation, who sacrificed his life for this country, to the freedom fighters such as Sardar Bhagat Singh, Lala Lajpat Rai, Rani Lakshmi Bai. But you start your parliament, a new parliament is constituted, oath taking begins by, bringing in such a deeply divisive political issue. I think, that's something which I do not think went down well with the opposition.
Probably one may also say that, when the House passes a resolution, and before passing the resolution, moving a resolution, you generally have to take the opposition also into confidence, which probably didn't happen.
See, I feel, and I think this is no reflection on the chair, because my incident with the chair got hyped all over the media. So this is more of a reflection on the government. I think the mandate of this election has not been read well by the government at all. The government wants to continue in the same very fashion that it was running the affairs for the last 10 years, which is believing that they have an overwhelming majority and the opposition has been completely rejected, and there is no need to listen to the opposition and just pursue with their agenda and that's what we call the steps in the direction of against democracy, against the constitution, butchering the democracy, butchering the constitution. That's what we have been saying for the 10 years. This mandate though is different. This mandate, people casted their vote to protect the constitution, to protect our democracy. People brought in balance in our polity. The numerical mandate today may be with the BJP, but the moral mandate lies with the opposition. Because and there is a magic in this moral mandate. In democracy, there is this magical thing about mandate. If you look at the faces when they were sitting conducting the first NDA meeting, you could hardly find a smile on any of the leaders' faces. They had the numerical mandate, mind you. But if you look at the first CPP meeting, the Congress Parliamentary Party meeting, or the India Bloc meeting, everybody was hugging each other. Everybody had that halo smile on their faces. So that's the that's the mandate. So people of this country, the great nation of this great democracy, by casting their vote, have restored balance in our polity and balance in our democracy. The government in this first 2-3 days has shown that the government either has failed to read this totally or refuses to read it, and the government wants to continue in the same manner that the government was continuing for 10 years, where we accept that we were not, it was a full mandate for the ruling BJP for the last 10 years. So I think this will prove to be counter effective for the BJP. If they continue in this direction, I think opposition will rise even further.
On the question of mandate, many would argue that one of the message of the Lok Sabha election results was also the fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is not as invincible as he appeared even a couple of months back. So how big a political threat is he going to be in 2029?
See, 2029 is far off. 2029 is far off. Before 2029, many things will happen. Democracy, I feel, like I said, there is a magic in the sense of mandate. The moral sense of the mandate is that the opposition has been respected by the people, resurrected by the people. And each and every state election is now going to become much more important than previously in the last 10 years. And things happen. You have in 3 months down the line, very important state elections in Jharkhand, Maharashtra and my own state, Haryana. We are hopeful that we are going to win all these 3 elections. And if we win the elections, then there will be added additional pressure on the central government also. So like I said, there is a magic in sense of mandate and magical things happen in democracy. So 2029 is far off. I am not going to write off chances of, something happening in the center couple of years down the line.
You mean the change of government?
I'm not, I mean, this is a minority government. Why not? This is not a, BJP doesn't have numbers on its own. It's a minority government. And the Haryana elections, like I said, coming 3 months down the line. And Haryana is also a magical place. Whoever wins Haryana wins Delhi. Our history has shown that Kurukshetra, the great war of Kurukshetra in Mahabharata, who won Kurukshetra also ruled Indraprasth. 3 battles of Panipat, whoever won Delhi. And even BJP, when our Prime Minister Modi ji was nominated as the Prime Ministerial candidate, he held his first public meeting in Rewari, where he announced first one rank, one pension. Of course, it couldn't be fulfilled, that promise. 2014. And then he went on to, so when Haryana, we are confident that Congress is going to win in Haryana this time. And
so by that logic, Congress should be winning in 2029.
I am allowed to give that logic coming from that state.
Before I come to Haryana, let me ask you one last question, away from Haryana politics, in fact. It's about Rahul Gandhi, and you are supposed to be a part of Rahul Brigade. You have been with him all this while. His decision to accept the post of the leader of opposition, what's behind that? Is it in preparation for his probable projection in 2029 as a prime ministerial candidate? What went behind this decision?
I think it's a very good decision, not just for the Congress party, not just only for the opposition, but I think for democracy for our country and for our country itself. Because like you said, that I've seen very closely how Rahulji has over these years fought for every section of the society, both in parliament and outside parliament. I have witnessed from very close quarters the absolutely pious intent with which he's carried out his affairs, the clarity in his mind about his ideology for which he's fighting, the conviction that he possesses to do and move in the direction in which he wants to go. You look at the 10 years of when we were in power during the UPA times. Of course, many quarters of press criticized him for many things, but you have to also acknowledge, even at that point of time, he was bringing to the parliament and to the government the voice of different sections, of people throughout the country and was fighting for those rights of those people. Land Acquisition Act, after 100 years it was amended and in favor of the farmers, is a great example when he carried out that Padyatra from Bhatta Parsol to Aligarh. And it was a time when we were in government. And he took that voice to the parliament and to the government, and land acquisition was amended after 100 years in favor of the farmers. From that Padyatra to now the Padyatra of Bharat Jodo. And it was my good fortune to see all that from very close quarter. So I think he has emerged. Let there be no question about the fact that Rahul Gandhi ji has emerged, and he will prove to be one of the best leaders of opposition that our country has seen. And I think this will, the fight, the good fight that we are all part of, we will, go forward with this good fight. One of the things that I said in our parliamentary party meeting, when everybody was congratulating him, I wished him well, and I said that I believe that next few years are going to be the best years for the Congress party and for Rahul ji. Even after he becomes the Prime Minister, as I told him, and that he were to look back towards these years will be the best years, I feel. This is my belief in his life, in his mission, and also best years for the Congress party. Because, we have seen the worst of things and we are moving in the right direction. And now the responsibility that he's accepted, I think will mature things even further.
The other part of my question was, is it the launch pad for his projection as the prime ministerial candidate in 2029?
People already see a prime minister in him. A lot of people, of course, every congressman, and I believe a lot of our countrymen want to see a Rahul ji as India's prime minister. So there is no question of this being the launch pad. Already there is no, but this is another stepping stone in that direction.
Let me bring you to Haryana now. You have seen the results. It's 5-5-5. I mean, it's evenly split when it comes to the Lok Sabha seats. But there are some big, when it comes to vote shares in different constituencies, and the way, as you were saying, that it was not just about Jats voting for the Congress, non-Jats, everybody came together, and you were giving me some numbers. Looking at all that, what do these results mean to the Congress in the context of its, prospects in the assembly election?
See, first of all, through you, let me thank the people of Haryana who have wholeheartedly voted for the Congress party. It is a big result and a big victory for the Congress party. It's not evenly split in the sense of the mandate again, because if you look at the numbers, we have achieved 47.6% vote share for the India Alliance in Haryana,
including 3.5% of the Aam Aadmi Party.
For the India Alliance. This is the highest vote share for India Alliance across India, including Tamil Nadu, DMK-led Tamil Nadu, our alliance there, or Maharashtra. In fact, 47.6% is the highest vote share for India Alliance. The next three states are all South Indian states: Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and our alliance in Kerala. There was this whole debate about South versus North. Now we have a state which surrounds Delhi from three sides, North Indian states, Haryana, which has the highest vote share for the Congress and the India Alliance. So not only the highest vote share, our vote share is about 2 percentage points more than the BJP. We have led in many more assembly segments than the BJP. Not just that we have won 5 parliament seats, we have lost the other 5. Another interesting fact about this mandate is that all the 10 out of 10 Lok Sabha seats, our vote share witnessed record increase, and BJP's vote share recorded absolute decrease. In fact, not just 10 Lok Sabha seats, 90 out of 90 assembly segments. It doesn't matter that assembly segment is in which area of Haryana. which caste configuration, each and every assembly segment, Congress's vote share went up and BJP's vote share went down. So that signifies a absolute trend.
That's actually very interesting because in the 2019 election, BJP had got 58%, and you were behind by about 30 percentage points. And today, if you see 47% for India Alliance, and BJP is down to 46%.
See that.
How did it happen?
So now that's another thing. You're absolutely right. We were 30 percentage point behind BJP, and our vote share has jumped from 28% to almost 48%. 20% jump is also highest in the country for the Congress party. The second comes Telangana, which is about 10% jump from 2019 Lok Sabha election. So a upswing of 20%. I mean, new parties are born with 20% upswing. So you can imagine a 20% upswing is a extremely significant result. And a very important point that you picked on, that what happened in Haryana last time. After the Lok Sabha election, BJP was sitting very confident on 58% and they led on 80 assembly segments, and we only led on 10 assemblies. They coined this slogan, "Ab ki baar 75 par" in Haryana, just like 400 par का नारा इन्होंने दिया देश के लिए. But that 75 par, rumbled and tumbled to 40, and they could not form the government on their own. 58% vote share was reduced to, like you said, 38%, 20% vote share. People were unhappy with the BJP even at that time in the state. Even at that time, they wanted to change there was a mandate for the change in Haryana because JJP got 10 seats and JJP's slogan was, ये कह रहे थे अब की बार 75 पार, और दुष्यंत चौटाला कह रहा था अब की बार BJP को करो जमुना पार, which in Haryana's terms means send them out of the power. और वो 10 MLAs जो आए बीजेपी के खिलाफ आए और जाकर बीजेपी की लोगों ने तो बीजेपी को कर दिया था जमुना पार. दुष्यंत चौटाला जेजेपी ने बीजेपी को पकड़ा जमुना पार से, जमुना में डुबकी लगवाई और चंडीगढ़ में सरकार बनवाई और एक ऐसा गठबंधन और एक ऐसी सरकार चलाई 5 साल कि डबल इंजन बोल दिया कि डबल इंजन सरकार है. और अब इलेक्शन आते आते 2 ही इंजन ही बचे, डब्बे सारे पीछे छूट गए और जो इंजन भी बचे वो भी अलग अलग जा रहे हैं, अलायंस टूट गया. और इतना भ्रष्टाचार मचाया इन्होंने 5 साल में कि अब बीजेपी वाले कह रहे हैं कि दुष्यंत चौटाला के घोटालों की जांच कराएंगे और दुष्यंत चौटाला कह रहे हैं कि बीजेपी के घोटालों के राज बताएंगे. तो 5 साल और लूट लिया. 2019 तक ये लोग इतने दुखी थे कि बदलना चाहते थे और अब 5 साल और लोगों को झेलनी पड़ गई ऐसी सरकार, जिसका बहुत नुकसान हो गया हरियाणा का. तो कहने का मेरा मतलब ये है, आपने लोकसभा इलेक्शन का जो कंपैरिजन किया था कि पिछली बार जो आपने देखा, इस बार तो, और एक और मेरे को याद है पिछली बार जब मैंडेट आया हरियाणा का और बीजेपी की माइनॉरिटी गवर्नमेंट आई तो इनकी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस हो रही थी, शायद स्मृति ईरानी कर रही थी दिल्ली में. तो उनसे पूछा गया कि क्या हुआ क्या नहीं, तो स्मृति ईरानी कहा कि भाई थोड़ा फ़र्क आ जाता है क्योंकि हमारे ब्रह्मास्त्र हैं प्रधानमंत्री का चेहरा, इसीलिए उसमें ज़्यादा लोकसभा में आपका नतीजा आया और नीचे थोड़ा हम कम रह गए. अब तो इनके ब्रह्मास्त्र ही फेल हो गए हरियाणा में. अभी हमारी ज़्यादा मेजॉरिटी से ज़्यादा हमारे नंबर आ गए. अगर हम असेंबली सेगमेंट देखें कि जितने पे कांग्रेस की लीड आई है
46 में कांग्रेस
तो,
है ना. हाँ.
तो इनका तो ब्रह्मास्त्र अभी भी फुस हो गए, फुस बम निकले अभी इस चुनाव में. अब आगे क्या होगा आप अंदाज़ा लगा सकते हैं जब लोग इतने दुखी हैं. 2 चीज़ें हुई हैं हरियाणा में. एक तरफ एंटी इनकम्बेंसी, जैसे मैंने कहा, बहुत बिल्डअप हुई है क्योंकि इस सरकार ने बिल्कुल डिलीवर नहीं कर पाई. हरियाणा जो विकास में सबसे आगे था, आज बेरोजगारी में देश में नंबर 1, सबसे ज़्यादा बेरोजगारी. ना इंडस्ट्री आई ना सरकारी नौकरी. हरियाणा आज नशे में देश में नंबर 1 है. विदेश में पलायन में हरियाणा का नौजवान नंबर 1 है. आज हरियाणा के नौजवान के सामने कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है. इतने डिप्रेशन में, कोई डिप्रेशन की तरफ, कोई नशे की तरफ, कोई अपराध की तरफ, गैंग्स दोबारा आ गए, अंडर एज शूटर आप देख रहे हैं सारे हरियाणा से आ रहे हैं. ऐसी स्थिति आ गई हरियाणा नौजवान के आगे. हर वर्ग को अपमानित किया इस सरकार ने. गरीब आदमी की सारी स्कीम्स बंद कर दी. किसान का जो अपमान हुआ किसान आंदोलन में, महिलाओं का, बेटियों का जो अपमान हुआ हमारे खिलाड़ी आंदोलन में आपने देखा. कर्मचारियों पे लाठीचार्ज, सरपंचों पे लाठीचार्ज, हर वर्ग का अपमान, कुछ काम हुआ नहीं, केवल भ्रष्टाचार। एंटी इनकम्बेंसी एक तरफ, और दूसरा पहलू है कि जहाँ तक विपक्ष की बात है, कांग्रेस पार्टी 2019 में संगठनात्मक रूप से जो हमारी शायद जो तैयारी थी, जो आत्मविश्वास था और जो संगठनात्मक फैसले थे, कहीं ना कहीं उन बातों से कांग्रेस पार्टी ने समझ लेते हुए इस बार कांग्रेस पार्टी ने अपना हाउस इन ऑर्डर करने का काम किया है। सही समय पे सही संगठनात्मक फैसले मेरी समझ में कांग्रेस पार्टी में हुए हैं, और इसीलिए आज कांग्रेस तैयार है कि हरियाणा के कोने कोने से एक ही आवाज़ आ रही है कि बीजेपी की हरियाणा सरकार जारी है, और हुड्डा साहब के नेतृत्व में और चौधरी उदय भान जी के अध्यक्षता में कांग्रेस पार्टी की सरकार आ रही है।
Very, I can see that very smartly you shifted from English to Hindi when it came to Haryana issues.
So on this, I
So Saurabh has a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Saurabh,
हमारे हरियाणा में अंग्रेजी बोलने और सीखने वाले बहुत हैं, लेकिन वो हिंदी पसंद करते हैं।
हाँ, वही देख रहा था क्या smartly आपने shift किया. Anyway, Saurabh covers the Congress. He has a lot of questions.
no,
But before that, just one question from me. Do you see this mandate in Haryana in the Lok Sabha election as a mandate against the central government or against Khattar Saini government?
I think there is a anger against the state government, and there was quite a high anti-incumbency also against the centre government. If you look at various sections in Haryana, for example, farmers, the farm protest were not just against the unjust policies of state government, but also central government, and the farmers were at the receiving end from the centre. If you look at our women wrestlers, they were protesting and they were asking for their dignity. From the questions were being asked for the Ministry of Home, Government of India. If you look at all the sections which were affected by this whole BJP's endeavor to crush the constitution and crush the constitutional rights of the sections of our society, the SC community, the OBC community. Now that is again something which is also directed towards the centre as well as towards the state. So there is a combination of both. But certainly the anger against the state government has not diminished with this vote, and people are just waiting for the time when they are going to vote the BJP government from state out.
Yeah, you just spoke about how the good performance of the Congress in Haryana this time is also a reflection of the fact that you have put your house in order. So recently you just had a review meeting of the Haryana Congress with the Congress High Command. So after the meeting, the High Command put out a statement saying the Haryana unit has been directed to not issue public statements on internal matters. So why did the Congress feel the need to issue such a statement?
It's a routine statement. I think it is a routine statement. It's a very, very welcome statement. I think Congress has done so well in this election. It is the best result for the Congress. You must have also heard the briefing by our General Secretary and General Secretary organization on the outcome of that review meeting. The briefing started with the acknowledgement of the fact that Congress has achieved a best result in Haryana, and the congratulations to all the Congress workers on achieving this result. So I think the natural outcome of that is that we want to ensure that this momentum that we have gained from the Lok Sabha election continues for the next 3 months, resulting in a big mandate in the state assembly election for the Congress, and I think it's a good directive in that direction.
You are skirting this. So what he was referring to was the so-called SRK factor in Haryana politics. Kumari Shelja, Randeep Surjewala, and Kiran Chaudhary.
Well,
He was
the BJP,
yeah, so he was probably referring to that.
No, Haryana in Congress is absolutely united. All these, catchy names, I think, are, something that media plays around with. The fact of the matter is, had we been not so much united, and the people were not so much united behind our central and state leadership, I don't think that Congress would have achieved 48% vote share and such a result that we saw in Lok Sabha. Every leader is important in Haryana, including the ones that you were leading to. All the leaders are together. All the Congress is absolutely united, and Congress workers are, more importantly, also absolutely united. And the voters of Haryana are unitedly backing a united Congress.
Do you think the Congress should project a CM face ahead of the assembly elections in Haryana? Will it help the party?
See, I mean, that's as far as the the face is concerned. Those right time Congress party takes right decisions. But I think overall we have sense of confidence. And in fact, one of the things is that we also don't want to get complacent and overconfidence. That's the talk at the moment. We are absolutely confident. जैसे मैंने कहा कि हरियाणा के कोने कोने से यही आवाज़ आ रही है कि हुड्डा साहब के नेतृत्व में और उदय भान जी की अध्यक्षता में और सभी कांग्रेस के तमाम सम्मानित नेताओं के सहयोग से कांग्रेस की हरियाणा में सरकार आ रही है.
So Aditya wants to know if the Congress will be able to sustain its momentum that it got in the Lok Sabha elections, in the assembly elections.
Even more so. Even more so, because like the earlier answer that I gave, on both ends, people are absolutely angry and disillusioned with the performance of the state government, and which the BJP has also acknowledged. You have seen towards the election, just 1 week before the declaration of the election, they changed their chief minister face. Chief minister of 10 years was changed before the elections. That's an acknowledgement of the fact that we have not been able to perform. Under the current face of the chief minister, we will not be able to go to the poll. That's number one. But even that did not help in making a difference. During the election, you saw independent MLAs withdrawing support from the BJP government and extending support to the Congress government during the course of the election. I don't think that's something which you have seen anywhere else in the country. So that shows that there is absolutely no confidence that the people have in the current BJP government and its performance. It's a minority government, by the way. That's another issue. The government, it is reduced to minority. It's a 42 MLA government. So it's lost its confidence of the House of our Haryana Assembly, and it's also lost confidence of the people in the polls. That's where the government stands on one hand. On the other hand, people remember the good work done during the Hooda ji-led Congress government. For 10 years, a golden period for Haryana, where Haryana progressed in every dimension and became the highest growth rate state of our country, highest per capita income state of our country, highest per capita investment state of our country at that point of time. Our sports people were doing well, our farmers were happy, the poor, there were a lot of record-breaking schemes for the poor people of our state. For every section, the welfare measures were taken, and Haryana was progressing in a very, there was a peace, prosperity, and Haryana progressed for 10 years. There was no tension, either caste tension, communal tension for 10 years. Now these 10 years of the current BJP government are completely contrary to that. So people have seen both the regimes, and the Congress has put in its house in order, like I said, and that's why we are confident that not only will we maintain the momentum, but we will add on to it.
So, there's a second question which is quite interesting from Parth Sharma. What do you think will be the impact of parties like JJP, INLD among the Jat voters across the state? And have these parties lost credibility post?
Totally lost credibility. He's answered his question. Both INLD and JJP have lost credibility. हरियाणा में दो तरह का मुकाबला आप देख रहे हैं. लोकसभा चुनाव में आपने देखा एक कांग्रेस और बीजेपी का, और एक जेजेपी INLD का नोटा से. हरियाणा में 2 तरह के मुकाबले आप देखेंगे विधानसभा में भी, क्योंकि 2014 में आपको याद होगा आईएनएलडी को मुख्य विपक्षी दल का मैंडेट मिला था। उनकी 20 सीट थी और कांग्रेस की हमारी 17 सीट थी, लेकिन उन्होंने मुख्य विपक्षी दल की बजाय मुख्य सहयोगी दल बन गए वो भाजपा के, और अपने लगातार उनके निशाने पर उन्होंने हुड्डा साहब को और मेरे को रखा। वो ये भूल गए कि वो मुख्य विपक्षी दल हैं और लगातार हमें निशाने पर रखा। तो इसीलिए लोगों ने 2019 में बदल के हुड्डा साहब को नेता विपक्ष बनाया। मजबूत 31 विधायक के रूप से हमें विपक्ष मिला हरियाणा में, और उसमें आईएनएलडी 1 सीट पे आ गई, जेजेपी को फिर भी 10 सीट मिली। और अब दोनों पार्टियों का वही जो है जनाधार। मैंने पहले ही कहा था, मैंने जिस दिन इन्होंने जेजेपी ने, जहाँ तक जेजेपी की बात है, जिस दिन जेजेपी ने बीजेपी को समर्थन दिया था तभी मैंने कहा था कि आने वाले चुनाव में ये एक भी सीट से अपनी जमानत नहीं बचा पाएंगे।
इनका वोट से कुछ 0.87% आ गया है।
हाँ, तो नोटा से भी कम आया है जहाँ तक मेरी जानकारी है, या इर्द गिर्द आया है। और तो किसी सीट से जमानत नहीं बचा पाए क्योंकि अपने मतदाता से विश्वासघात किया। तो मतदाता से जब विश्वासघात कोई पार्टी करती है तो फिर मैं समझता हूँ। और आज मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ, तब मैंने कहा था कि ये जमानत नहीं बचा पाएंगे, और आज मैं दूसरा नारा दे रहा हूँ कि लोकसभा में हमने भाजपा को किया हाफ, विधानसभा में हरियाणा की जनता भाजपा को करेगी साफ।
इसमें इस क्वेश्चन के संदर्भ में मुझे एक पूछना था कि जेजेपी की बात कर रहे हैं, आईएनएलडी की बात कर रहे हैं, मतलब देवीलाल डायनेस्टी की बात कर रहे हैं। 3 जो लाल डायनेस्टी हरियाणा की रही है, अब बंसीलाल डायनेस्टी में अभी अब हमने देखा किरण चौधरी और श्रुति चौधरी चलेंगी है बीजेपी में। भजन लाल का देखें तो ये अपने कुलदीप गए बीजेपी में, उनके बेटा एक एमएलए है, लेकिन ऑलमोस्ट वो तीनों लाल डायनेस्टी डिक्लाइन पे है। लेकिन हुड्डा डायनेस्टी जो एक रणवीर सिंह हुड्डा शुरू हुआ, भूपिंदर हुड्डा तक चल रहा है, और रणवीर और दीपेंद्र हुड्डा इसको आगे ले जा रहे हैं। हुड्डाज ने ऐसा क्या किया जो कि, और लाल्स ने ऐसा क्या नहीं किया जो हुड्डा ने किया है कि हुड्डा डायनेस्टी अभी मतलब इट्स प्रॉस्परिंग और 3 लाल डायनेस्टी पूरे डिक्लाइन पे चली गई है।
देखिए, राजनीति में लोगों के आशीर्वाद से ही कोई प्रॉस्पर करता है या डिक्लाइन करता है। राजनीति में और प्रजातंत्र में, आज की हमारे प्रजातांत्रिक व्यवस्था में मत की पेटी से आपके जनप्रतिनिधि का जन्म होता है। और मैं अपने आप को सौभाग्यवशाली मानता हूँ कि एक और मैंने ऐसे परिवार में जन्म लिया है जिस परिवार पिछले 125 साल से एक विचारधारा से जुड़कर, मेरे परदादा जी ने जब 1907-8 में पगड़ी समाल जट्टा आंदोलन के समय उनको काले पानी की सज़ा हुई, उसके बाद कांग्रेस पार्टी के पहले प्रथम जिला अध्यक्ष बने। 1923 में मेरे परदादा जी ने पहला चुनाव लड़ा स्वराज पार्टी से, मोतीलाल नेहरू जी की पार्टी से। उसके बाद मेरे स्वर्गीय दादाजी 8 साल ब्रिटिश साम्राज्य की काल कोठड़ियों में उन्होंने अपनी जवानी के बिताए, आज़ादी के स्वतंत्रता संग्राम आंदोलन में, उसके बाद संविधान सभा के सदस्य के रूप में, और आने वाले 3 दशकों में संसद और विधानसभाओं के माध्यम से देश की सेवा करने का उनको अवसर मिला। और उसके बाद हुड्डा साहब ने बहुत लंबी सेवा करी हरियाणा प्रदेश और देश के लोगों की। तो मेरा जन्म ऐसे परिवार में हुआ जो जिसके मैं समझता हूँ संस्कार, जिन्होंने मूल्यों के और विचारधाराओं को लेकर हमेशा आपने अपनी स्पष्टता से एक संघर्ष किया। मगर उसके साथ साथ उसके बाद जब कोर्ट ऑफ द पीपल में कोई जाता है तो उसके बाद लोगों का आशीर्वाद के बिना कोई आगे नहीं बढ़ पाता। मुझे इस बात की, मैं अपने रोहतक लोकसभा क्षेत्र के लोगों को मैं जितना मैं धन्यवाद करूं वो कम है कि जब मुझे मौका मिला, पहला जब मैंने चुनाव लड़ा तो निश्चित तौर से मेरी पहचान मेरा परिवार ही था, मुझे अवसर मिला। मगर उसके बाद मैंने 5 चुनाव लड़े हैं, 5 चुनाव में सर्वाधिक मत प्रतिशत अगर कांग्रेस के किसी कैंडिडेट को मिला लगातार, तो 5 चुनाव में रोहतक से लोगों ने मुझे सर्वाधिक मत प्रतिशत दिया। जो एक चुनाव मैं नहीं भी जीत पाया तब भी सर्वाधिक मत प्रतिशत रोहतक में ही मिला था कांग्रेस को। और इस बार भी एक बड़े बहुमत से 3.5 लाख के आसपास के एक बहुमत से जो देश में दूसरी बड़ी जीत है कांग्रेस पार्टी की, वो हरियाणा जैसे छोटे प्रदेश से आई। तो हर वर्ग ने जो आशीर्वाद दिया, तो आज जो आप ये बात कह रहे हैं, और मैं एक बात और इसमें जोड़ना चाहता हूँ आपके प्रश्न को दायरा बढ़ाते हुए, कि जो रोहतक लोकसभा चुनाव की जो ये वाली मेरी जीत है, इन 5 जीतों में मैं इसको सबसे अपनी जो है बड़ी जीत मानता हूँ। हालांकि एक बार मैं 5 लाख के 2009 का चुनाव जो था वो देश में सर्वाधिक मत से रोहतक लोकसभा क्षेत्र के लोगों ने जिताने का काम किया था उस समय। इस बार मगर जो जीत है वो जीत बहुत बड़ी जीत है, आज तक की मैं अपनी 5 चुनाव में सबसे बड़ी जीत मानता हूँ। उसका कारण ये है कि भाजपा की जो एक नीति थी हरियाणा के अंदर और पूरे देश के अंदर, धर्म और जाति के नाम पे राजनीति करने की नीति, भाई को भाई से उलझाने की, लड़ाने की नीति, रोहतक लोकसभा क्षेत्र के क्षेत्रवासियों ने उस भाजपा की रणनीति को, उस राजनीति को नकारते हुए हर वर्ग ने मुझे आशीर्वाद दिया। ये एक इंसानियत की जीत है, ये सकारात्मक राजनीति की जीत है। हर वर्ग ने इतना आशीर्वाद।
That's why I want to ask you this question. Hudas are projected as just Jat leaders, and so that's why we saw the BJP, projecting non-Jat leaders first, Manohar Khattar, then Sani. The idea was to kind of get all the non-Jat communities together and corner you as just Jat leaders. How has it worked, sir?
See, first of all, the construct of that policy from the BJP, you can understand how wrong it is. That is what we are fighting against. ये जो राजनीति है कि एक वर्ग को अलग किया जाए, या कहीं हिंदू मुस्लिम किया जाए उत्तर प्रदेश में, कहीं किसी दूसरे राज्य में ट्राइबल नॉन ट्राइबल किया जाए, कहीं मराठा नॉन मराठा किया जाए, कहीं यादव नॉन यादव किया जाए, हरियाणा में जाट गैर जाट किया जाए, ये जो राजनीति है इससे हमारी लड़ाई है, वैचारिक लड़ाई, विचारधारा की लड़ाई है, कांग्रेस पार्टी की विचारधारा की लड़ाई है। लेकिन मैं ये आपको मैं भाजपा ने राजनीति करी, आपने जो कहा मैं उसको मैं असत्य नहीं बता रहा, मैं उसको गलत बता रहा हूँ कि वो गलत है, और इसीलिए हम सही के लिए लड़ रहे हैं। और इस बार आपने देखा होगा रोहतक लोकसभा क्षेत्र का परिणाम वो प्रतीक है इस बात का कि लोगों ने इस राजनीति को नकारने का काम किया। रोहतक लोकसभा क्षेत्र में जितने भी SC समाज के बूथ हैं, लगभग 100% में लोग के आशीर्वाद से हमें बढ़त मिली है। जो प्रदेश का सबसे बड़ा अहीर बहुल्य विधानसभा क्षेत्र है कोसली, रोहतक लोकसभा क्षेत्र का हिस्सा है, वहाँ से लोगों के आशीर्वाद से मुझे बढ़त मिली। जो हमारे प्रदेश का सबसे बड़ा पंजाबी समाज बहुल्य विधानसभा क्षेत्र है रोहतक शहर, वहाँ से लोगों के आशीर्वाद से मुझे बढ़त मिली है। जो हमारे 28 के करीब जो ब्राह्मण बहुल्य गांव, अधिकतर ब्राह्मण बीजेपी के कैंडिडेट होने के बावजूद ब्रह्म समाज के बहुल्य गांव के अंदर मुझे बढ़त मिली। यहाँ तक कि गुजर समाज के हर गुजर बहुल्य गांव में बढ़त मिली। यहाँ तक कि राजपूत समाज के जो हमारे 19 गांव राजपूत बहुल्य जो हमारे गांव हैं, जिनमें से कईयों में पहले कभी बढ़त नहीं मिली थी, वहाँ भी 13 राजपूत बहुल्य जो गांव हैं उनके अंदर बढ़त मिली। जो बैकवर्ड समाज के बहुल्य बूथ हैं, गांव हैं, उनके अंदर बढ़त मिली। कुल मिला के जब मैंने कहा हर वर्ग ने, ये इंसानियत की जीत हुई है, सकारात्मक राजनीति की जीत हुई है, और ये रोहतक में तो बहुत बड़ी जीत हुई है, मगर किसी न किसी पैमाने पे ये जीत हरियाणा के हर विधानसभा क्षेत्र में हुई है। इसीलिए मैंने आपको बताया कि 90 के 90 विधानसभा क्षेत्रों में हरियाणा में पहला ही ऐसा प्रदेश होगा कि 90 के 90 में कांग्रेस का मत प्रतिशत बढ़ा हरियाणा में, और भाजपा का मत प्रतिशत गिरा है। वो विधानसभा क्षेत्र चाहे हरियाणा के किसी भौगोलिक क्षेत्र में हो, किसी जातीय समीकरण में हो, हरियाणा में कांग्रेस पार्टी ऊपर गई है। यानी कि हर वर्ग ने कांग्रेस पार्टी का साथ दिया है, ये हमें नहीं भूलना चाहिए इस बार। और इस संदेश को, रोहतक की इस जीत को, इस छत्तीस बिरादरी की जीत को, इस इंसानियत के संदेश को लेकर प्रदेश के कोने कोने में हम जाएंगे।
वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम ए व्यूअर, उसमें मैं अपना भी सवाल जोड़ दूंगा। So Kartik Parashar wants to know if Arvind Kejriwal's arrest has put AAP's expansion plans in Haryana. Basically, has it halted AAP's expansion plans in Haryana? So I just wanted to add my own question to it. So you had an understanding with the AAP in Haryana this time. Once it went to the AAP, they fought from Kurukshetra and lost. So do you think had the Congress fielded its own candidate from Kurukshetra, do you think you would have won?
देखिए, जहाँ तक आम आदमी पार्टी की बात है, आम आदमी पार्टी का हरियाणा में कोई ज़्यादा जनाधार नहीं है। उनकी प्रेजेंस है, उन्होंने प्रयास किया है, ईमानदारी से उन्होंने प्रयास किया अपनी पार्टी को बढ़ाने का, लेकिन उनका हरियाणा में कोई धरातल पे जनाधार नहीं है। और ये बात उनको भी पता है और हमें भी पता है। ये जो अलायंस हुआ, ये इंडिया गठबंधन का राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर अलायंस हुआ, और चूँकि चंडीगढ़ जो हमारी राजधानी है हरियाणा की, हालांकि राजनीतिक तौर से चंडीगढ़ हरियाणा का हिस्सा जो है हमारी विधानसभा का हिस्सा नहीं है, मगर हमारी राजधानी है। चंडीगढ़ सीट कांग्रेस को मिल रही थी, वहाँ आम आदमी पार्टी का जनाधार अच्छा जनाधार है, और दिल्ली में भी 3 सीटें मिल रही थी, क्योंकि हरियाणा दिल्ली आपस में जुड़ा हुआ प्रदेश है हमारा। तो इन भौगोलिक परिस्थितियों को, राष्ट्रीय समीकरणों को देखते हुए मैं समझता हूँ हमारे केंद्रीय नेतृत्व ने हरियाणा में एक सीट देने का जो फैसला किया, उसका हमने सम्मान करते हुए उसको वहाँ पर। लेकिन इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है। आप अगर आम आदमी पार्टी के जो है सभी तमाम नेताओं से पूछेंगे, और उन प्रत्याशी से भी पूछेंगे जिन्होंने चुनाव लड़ा था, मगर बिना कैमरे के पूछेंगे, तो वो आपको उसका उत्तर वही देंगे जो आपने कहा। धारणा पूरे हरियाणा में एक ही है कि अगर वो कांग्रेस के सिंबल पे लड़ते तो पक्का जीतते, चाहे उम्मीदवार आम आदमी पार्टी के होते। और ये मैंने भी सुझाव भी दिया था, जब अलायंस हो रहा था तो मैंने ये सुझाव दिया था। मैंने कहा था कि केजरीवाल जी के समक्ष ये बात रखी गई थी कि भाई आप अगर कैंडिडेट आप अपना उतार दीजिए, लेकिन सिंबल हमारा दीजिए, तो निश्चित तो वहाँ पे 25,000 का फासला रहा है कुरुक्षेत्र में। तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि ये कहीं ना कहीं वो भी महसूस कर रहे हैं। आगे विधानसभा चुनाव में लेकिन कोई गठबंधन नहीं है। 90 की 90 सीटों पे कांग्रेस पार्टी सक्षम है, मजबूत है, और हम अपने उम्मीदवार उतारेंगे।
Before we let you go, one last question from me. If you're so confident of the Congress's prospects, or if Congress has been doing so well, why did somebody like Naveen Jindal feel so disillusioned with the Congress that he went to the BJP?
See, that's another question that you should ask him rather than asking me. I don't think that he felt disillusioned with the Congress party. I don't think he has ever stated that. He joined the BJP, but prior to joining the BJP, I have never heard him say anything about disillusionment with the Congress party. That was his personal decision to join the BJP on the eve of the election, and you must ask that question to him when you meet him next.
All right, well, thank you so much for taking time for us. Thanks a lot.